Good morning. Sitting in for Gretchen Ho, I'm Pauline Berzosa. It is Tuesday, the 15th of April, and we're bringing you Morning Matters because your mornings matter. And here are the stories that matter today. Vice President Sara Duterte has officially backed the re-election bid of Senator Amy Marcos, despite her earlier statement that she would not endorse any candidate for the midterm elections. President Bongbong Marcos asserts that authorities will not condone the actions of foreigners, including Russian-American vlogger Vitaly Zodorovetsky. We'll be getting an update from the DILG on that matter later on in the program. And be sure to keep yourselves hydrated at all times, as 14 areas across the country are forecast to experience danger level heat index today, April 15. Welcome to our program, Morning Matters, where we talk about the issues you need to know for the rest of your day. Now, first on the agenda, Vice President Sara Duterte has formally endorsed the candidacy of re-electionist Senator Amy Marcos. Here's that report.
A photo of Vice President Sara Duterte with senatorial candidate Camille Villar and her father, former Senate President Manny Villar, is now making rounds online. That was posted by attorney Harry Roque with a caption that says, "Politics is addition after all." This photo of VP Sara and Senator Amy, who is no longer a member of the administration slate, has also surfaced. On Monday, the lawmaker released the endorsement video of the Vice President. Recall that VP Sara previously said that she won't endorse any candidate for the midterm elections.
Nadala na ako, na-scam na ako, nabudol na ako. Hindi ako mag-endorso ng kandidato.
When Malacanang was asked about this, here's what Press Officer Undersecretary Claire Castro had to say.
Sa kanya mga kandidato, definitely yes. Pero muli, kung ano man po yung iba pang mga detalye patungkol po dito sa recent incidents, ay si Congressman Toby Chanco po ang may authority to talk about.
The administration's Alyansa para sa Bagong Pilipinas campaign manager, Toby Tiangco, said this is a welcome development. He added that politics is about addition, not division.
Well, Senator Bato de la Rosa said Vice President Sara Duterte's endorsement of Senator Amy Marcos and Representative Camille Villar is a personal decision. He emphasized that Senator Amy has long been friends with both. As for De La Rosa, he said he will be deferring to PDP Laban's decision on endorsing Senator Amy. He also noted he has no issue with her, even calling her his best friend in the Senate.
Hindi naman actually ako na surprise na dyan. Matagal naman na silang magkaibigan. No? Pag-usapan na PDP Laban kung ano maging decision ng partido, then I will abide by the decision of the party. Basta ako, wala akong problema kasi ito ay may close kami, magkaibigan kami. In fact, best friend ko yan sa Senado. Pero still, I have to abide by the party decision.
And for the weather, 14 areas across the country are forecast to experience danger level heat index today, April 15. That includes Cavite City, Dumangas in Iloilo, La Carlota City, Puerto Princesa, and Virac in Catanduanes, which are all expected to record a heat index of 43 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, 42 degrees Celsius is expected in Camiling, Tarlac, Cuyo, Palawan, Davao City, Los Baños, Laguna, Maramag, Bukidnon, Olongapo City, San Ildefonso, Bulacan, San Jose, Occidental Mindoro, and Tanawan City. A danger level heat index ranging from 42 to 51 degrees Celsius poses risks of heat-related issues such as cramps, exhaustion, and heat stroke. And now let's get more details on this from Pag-asa. We are joined by Ana Clauren-Jorda. Good morning, Ana. Pwede nga pa-explain ano ba yung mga factors na nagko-contribute dito sa inaasahan nating danger level heat index ngayong araw?
Yes, good morning po sa ating lahat. So currently, yung easterlies o yung mainit na hangin mula po sa dagat Pasipiko, yung inaasahan po natin na makakaapekto po sa malaking bahagi ng ating bansa. Kaya po, hindi lang po dito sa Metro Manila, pati na rin po sa ibang parts of our country, ay inaasahan po natin na mainit at maalinsangan po yung panahon ngayong araw. At sa mga susunod na araw, itong easterlies din po yung dominanting system na makakaapekto po sa ating bansa.
So Ana, linawin lang din natin para sa mga viewers, ano ba yung meaning ng heat index? Ito yung nararamdaman, di ba? Hindi naman siya yung actual na temperatura.
Yes po, tama po. Yung heat index po, ito po yung init na nararamdaman po na ating katawan. So, iba po ito dun sa tinatawag po natin na air temperature, na kung saan yun naman po yung temperatura ng hangin lamang. Pero pag heat index po, kasama na po dito yung humidity o yung halumigmig po natin na tinatawag, no? So, ito pong relative humidity, pati na rin po yung temperature, pag pinagsama po sila, ay heat index po yung tawag po natin, na kung saan ito po yung init nga na nararamdaman na ating katawan.
Ana, may datos ba kung anong oras magiging pinakamainit ngayong araw?
Yes po, usually po yung nagpipik po yung ating init po, no, around 12 hanggang 4 p.m. po. Diyan po natin nararamdaman yung sobrang init, sobrang alinsangan po ng ating panahon.
So ano yung mga mapapayo natin sa ating mga kapwa Pilipino ngayon na magiging nasa danger level nga ang heat index ngayong araw?
Yes po, sa ating mga kababayan po, no, kung hindi po natin maiwasan na lumabas po na katanghalian, no, ay palagian po tayo magdala ng tubig dahil nga sobrang init po na ating panahon ay naasahan, at iwasan po natin yung heavy activities nga sa tanghali dahil posible nga po ito dun sa heat stroke, heat cramps po, no. Kaya po doble ingat po sa ating mga kababayan, at magdala po tayo palagi ng mga pananggalang sa tindi ng sikat na araw, ganun din sa posibilidad ng mga pag-ulan sa hapon at sa gabi.
Pero Ana, syempre Holy Week din ngayon, ano? So maraming mga activities, mga tradisyon ng mga Pilipino, kasama na dyan yung mga prosesyon, yung bisita iglesia, pabasa. So inaasahan ba itong danger level heat index buong linggo? Ano ba yung magiging kalagayan ng panahon this week?
Yes, tama po kayo. Magtutuloy-tuloy po ito ngayong buong Holy Week po, no? Hanggang Sunday, inaasahan natin na warm and humid condition po inaasahan natin, di lang dito sa Metro Manila, pati na rin po sa ibang bahagi po na ating kapuluan. Kaya po, ingat po talaga sa ating mga kababayan dahil nga mainit po, maalinsangan yung ating panahon na inaasahan ngayong Holy Week.
At Ana, dahil nasa tag-init na nga tayo, ano, meron bang mga sama ng panahon na inaasahan na ngayong buwan ng Abril o wala naman?
Sa ngayon, wala pa naman po tayo na monitor na posible pong maging bagyo.
Alright, maraming salamat para sa update na yan. That was Clauren-Jorda, Pag-asa Weather Forecaster. Now, in other news, the CBCP has issued a statement on the viral video of a heated argument between a priest and a vendor. CBCP Commission on Public Affairs Executive Secretary Father Jerome Ceciliano said that he would give the, quote, benefit of the doubt to the priest. In the viral video, the priest is telling a vendor to sell their goods outside the church premises after the vendor refused to comply. Ceciliano said it is possible that it unexpectedly escalated to that point because the priest had repeatedly asked nicely. He also added that there might be no investigation needed since it's only a minor incident that was only made worse because it went viral. We're going to take a quick break. Morning Matters will be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here on One News. More devotees are expected to visit the Santo Domingo Church in Quezon City as the Catholic faithful celebrates Holy Week. And now let's get updates on the ground from our mobile journalist Amy Atienza, who joins us live this morning. Hi Amy, marami na bang tao dyan sa Santo Domingo Church ngayong Tuesday? Amy, double check lang natin yung audio. Ayan.
Hello?
Yes, Amy. So, gano'n na ba karami mga tao dyan sa Santo Domingo Church?
Yes, Pauline, nandito nga tayo sa Santo Domingo Church at right now, ongoing yung misa. At kung makikita mo sa aking likuran, medyo payapa pa naman yung situation. No, dito meron ng mga ilan na pumapasok talaga sa Santo Domingo Church. Pero so far naman ay okay pa naman na nagiging sistema dito. Kanina nga 5:45 a.m. nagkaroon sila ng rosary, pati na rin ng morning prayer. Sinundan niya ng misa na nagsimula ng 6:15 a.m. At tuloy-tuloy din naman daw ang daloy ng tao dito. Pero yun nga lang, hindi pa daw ganoon karami katulad ng ine-expect ng simbahan. Pero yun nga lang din, paalala ng simbahan na kung pupunta man dito, maging handa magdala ng payong, pati ng tubig, para siguraduhin na okay yung magiging kondisyon nila dito. At kung meron naman daw taong pupunta dito for visit sa iglesia, so wala pa tayong nakikita so far, simula kaninang around 7 a.m., handa naman daw yung simbahan kung sakali magkaroon ng dagsapan ng tao ngayong araw, Pauline.
Ngayon ba, Amy, mas marami na yung mga misa dahil Holy Week? Ano ba yung schedule dyan sa Santo Domingo Church? Would you know?
Yes, well, dito sa Santo Domingo Church, 4 yung misa muna from simula kahapon hanggang Wednesday. So 4 masses each day, yung isa 6:15 a.m., yung isa naman ngayon nagsimula 8 a.m. tapos susundan niya ng 12:15 p.m. na mass and then 6 p.m. na mass. So after na sa Holy Thursday, iba na yung magiging practices nila dito, mas dadami nga yung misa. And yun nga, makikita naman natin ayan sa screen na nakataklob na din yung mga figures nila dito dahil nga bilang pagbibigay respeto na rin para sa ating poon.
Oo, Amy, kasi ang Santo Domingo Church talagang dinadagsayan tuwing Semana Santa at tuwing Holy Week. So, kailan ba inaasahan ng simbahan dyan yung bugso ng mga tao? Yung araw na magiging marami, pinaka-busy?
Tinataya nila na mas marami ang taong pupunta dito by Holy Thursday dahil yun daw talaga nagiging schedule ng mga deboto o kaya naman ng mga mananampalataya para nga daw mag-visit sa iglesia. So, yung peak hours daw niya na hapon talaga dahil nga rin sa tinding init na nararanasan ngayon. So, yun yung pinaka-inaabangan nila. Holy Thursday, maraming bibisita at yun nga, lagi lang paalala talaga na wag na rin daw magdala ng mga flammable materials pati rin ng mga patalim para nga daw maiwasan na rin natin kung anumang anomalya yung pwedeng mangyari. Na on standby din naman sila dito. Meron na din sila dito nung sa healthcare kung may mahiluman daw o kaya may mahimatay sa init. So, ayun, ready naman ang Santo Domingo Church dyan. By Thursday talaga, dadami daw yung dagsama.
Amy, kamusta naman ang seguridad? Magandang marinig na may healthcare, prepared sila in case of any emergency. Pero sa seguridad naman, may presence ba ng kapulisan din dyan sa Santo Domingo Church?
Well, so far wala pa tayo nakikita. Though if may questions naman, open naman yung information office nila para nga daw kung may katanungan o kaya kung may concerns, pwede naman daw nila lapitan po nila.
And lastly, Amy, ano ba yung mga activities pa ng simbahan para sa Holy Week?
Well, nung bumisita tayo dito nung Friday, nakita natin medyo may linya ng karosa doon na wala na kaninang umaga pagdating natin. So yun yung inaabangan natin. Most likely may mga parada nga na usually ginagawa yan at 3 p.m. ng Friday. So bukod sa misa, yung parada nga yung pinaka-inaabangan. And of course, meron din sila ditong magiging activities sa Easter Sunday na iaabangan din ng maraming pamilya at ng maraming deboto po dito.
Ayan, so bukod sa pagbantay sa sitwasyon dyan, maganda din alamin natin yung mga kwento, lalo na yung mga deboto na talagang bumibisita taon-taon dyan sa Santo Domingo Church. But for now, maraming salamat para sa report na yan. That was mobile journalist Amy Atienza joining us live from Santo Domingo Church. Now, in other news, Albuera Leyte mayoral candidate Espinosa claimed that the shooting incident left him wounded was politically motivated. But Leyte 4th District Representative Richard Gomez refuted Espinosa's claim, saying the self-confessed drug lord has no credibility. Here's the report.
Albuera Leyte mayoral candidate Espinosa went live on Facebook days after being shot last Thursday. In the video, he is seen receiving treatment for a gunshot wound to his shoulder while inside his home. Espinosa also claimed to have noticed suspicious individuals lurking around their area and believes the shooting was politically motivated.
Breaking news! Naay nangabot ng mga armadong tao sa mansyon ni Clauren Espinosa.
7 policemen assigned to Ormoc City have been tagged as persons of interest in the attack.
Isang malaking tanghaga na may taong nag-uutos sa kanila na mataas na politician din. Ang ano ko ay sana mabigyan to ng pansin ni Mayor Lucy kasi siya ngayon ang alkalde ng Ormoc City. Kung bakit napunta yung mga pulis mo sa aming lugar, sa Albuera, lalong-lalo ka na Congressman Richard Gomez, sana mabigyan mo to ng pansin.
Meanwhile, Leyte 4th District Representative Richard Gomez said Espinosa should not be trusted and has nothing good to offer. He added that he is still investigating the attack and will give an interview once the details are clearer. For now, Gomez argued that Espinosa's story has too many flaws. Espinosa fired back, telling Gomez to look at himself in the mirror. He claimed that people in their district know who has a record of abuse and who genuinely cares about others. The 7 persons of interest are now in the custody of the Leyte Police Office. However, inquest proceedings have yet to take place. Ormoc City Police Director, Police Colonel Redante Ariza, reportedly one of those being linked to the case, has been relieved from his post. For News 5, Gerard de la Peña, We Are One News.
Meanwhile, the Quezon City government is urging parents to have their children vaccinated against measles following a sharp rise in cases during the first quarter of the year. As of April 7, the city recorded 135 measles cases, which is over a 300% jump from the 30 cases reported during the same period last year. Most of the infections, or 118 cases exactly, were among children aged 10 and below. City health officials said around 60% of the reported cases involved children who were either unvaccinated or had not completed the required doses of the measles vaccine. The city government reminded the public that free measles, mumps, and rubella or MMR vaccines are available in local health centers. And in sports, Alex Ayala has jumped 3 places overall, now finding herself at world number 72 in the WTA rankings. The tennis sensation propelled herself from world number 140 to 75 after her spectacular run at the semifinals of the Miami Open. Now, since then, the 19-year-old Filipina tennis star was able to take advantage of movements above her. Now, this comes ahead of her return to action in Portugal as she competes in the Ladies Open on Monday. We're going to be taking another pause, but stay tuned. Morning Matters will be right back after this short break. Welcome back to Morning Matters. I'm Pauline Verzosa. President Bongbong Marcos stands firm that authorities will not tolerate foreigners such as Russian vlogger Vitaly Zodorovetsky. In a vlog, Marcos reacted to Vitaly's video seemingly harassing and insulting Filipinos for content. The president expressed dismay that this kind of content has become a part of social media. Vitaly was arrested earlier this month after the Immigration Bureau issued a mission order for undesirability against Vitaly.
Dapat tayo pumalag sa mga bully. Kasama niyo ang pamahalaan para ilugar ang mga ganitong tao.
And now let's discuss that and more with Interior Undersecretary Donnie Puno, who joins us now live here in the studio this Tuesday morning. Good morning to you, Yusek, and thank you for joining us here on Morning Matters.
Good morning, Pauline. Thank you for having me.
It's a Holy Week, but here you are, still working.
Yes.
No rest for...
Government employees don't get breaks.
And this is your first live interview,
yes,
I heard.
Yes, it is.
And we have so many topics to discuss today, Yusek. Let's start off with that Russian vlogger
Yeah.
who made quite the headlines for his content.
Yeah.
I mean, you even have the president commenting, expressing his dismay that should not be tolerated. Give us an update, Yusek. What's the latest on the investigation, the charges on this Russian vlogger?
So briefly, what happened last week, DILG Secretary John Vic Remulla called for a press conference to present the Russian vlogger, Vitaly Storovetsky, to the media. And this was based on a blotter that was filed in Taguig, where Vitaly, based on the report, committed disruptive and inappropriate acts, to quote the report.
Who filed the blotter?
Some victims in Taguig. So I'm sure you've
victims
seen
themselves.
Yes, I'm sure you've seen the videos. He was caught harassing a Filipina. He tried grabbing the cap of a security guard, as you can see there. And then there were other acts that he committed in Boracay. This guy has been around. He's been doing this since 2012 all over the world. He's been in the States, he's been to Brazil, Egypt, the UK, doing this sort of thing. Now, Secretary John Vic has said he violated our laws and he disrespected Filipinos. Filipinos we are friendly people, we are hospitable people. But this guy took advantage of us. And ang malas niya, if other countries merely deported him, ang malas niya ngayon, his tough luck is that we have Secretary Remulla saying now that we're not going to let him off easy. So he will not be deported. He will stand trial here. He will face the charges here. And hopefully he will be jailed here.
So where is Vitaly right now, Yusek?
Vitaly is currently detained at the Bureau of Immigration's the detention center in Camp Bagong Diwa.
Okay.
And he will await trial there.
And what charges specifically will be filed against?
There are several charges that he's already facing. There are several counts of unjust vexation. There's theft, attempted robbery, even I think is one of the cases that he's facing. In the inquest that was conducted, he admitted to it. In the presence of his counsel, he admitted to doing those acts. So, like I said, Secretary John Vic wants him to stand trial here, and he'll face the consequences here.
But can he argue that it was all for content? I mean, for social media, yeah.
He can argue it all he wants, right? But the bottom line is he violated laws. He committed acts against Filipino citizens, which is against our laws. So he can argue it all he wants. He can take it to court.
So, Yusek, I mean, what message is the DILG trying to send here to foreigners who come to the Philippines to make content and, I guess, also disrupt the lives of Filipinos while they're here?
Creating content such as Vitaly's. He can go about doing that all he wants. But, it was in an editorial in Manila Times the other day, and they were saying, while arguments rage about regulating content and such, let's not forget that there are already existing laws that people need to follow. And he tried creating his content at the expense of the Filipinos, making them look like fools. That's what Secretary John Vic didn't like. So we'll await the trial and we'll see what happens.
You know what I found quite interesting also, Yusek? During this particular press conference that we were showing earlier, the demeanor also of Vitaly, right?
Yeah. He was rude. The whole time the secretary was talking to the media, he was in the back, he was saying things, he was mumbling aloud.
Yeah.
He was disruptive. His behavior is totally disruptive.
So he wasn't apologetic?
He was not apologetic at all.
Okay.
Good thing for him that the secretary was able to control his temper. Hindi siya pinatulan ni secretary. But really, he was even at the press conference, he was very in the presence of PNP personnel, in the presence of our secretary. He acted that way.
So I guess the question right now, Yusek, is the DILG doing anything, or does the DILG plan to do anything to curb the misuse of these kinds of behavior on social media and potentially harm Filipinos?
We've had several discussions over the past couple of weeks with PCO Secretary J. Ruiz and the DICT Secretary Henry Aguda. And this has to be an effort between the three departments. And I think we're headed in that direction. This is all in line with the President's order to go after fake news. Fake news, disinformation, misinformation, all of this content on social media that's wreaking havoc already online. there has to be a way to regulate this. PCO Secretary J. Ruiz said that he has met with representatives of the content of the platforms, of the various platforms, to get them to cooperate in terms of just monitoring what kind of content is out there.
But just to follow up also, Yusek, just to make sure that this is being done lawfully and with due process, he's Russian. What if the Russian government asks to, let Vitaly face the charges instead in their jurisdiction?
He broke our laws.
Okay.
He broke our laws. He broke Philippine laws here in our country. So he has to stand trial here.
All right. Well, I did say we will be discussing a lot of topics today,
Yes.
so let's shelf that already.
Sure.
One of the exciting projects that the DILG has is this harmonized infrastructure audit tool. So this
Right.
will assess the integrity
Right.
of buildings,
Right.
and we're talking about this because ever since that earthquake, that deadly earthquake that hit Myanmar and Thailand recently, killed thousands of people, unfortunately, talks about the potential big one resurfaced here in the Philippines. I
Right.
mean, we've been talking about it for years,
Yeah.
Yusek, right?
Yeah.
But give us the situation. There was a study back in 2004 that said millions of Filipinos could die if a 7-magnitude earthquake hits.
Right.
Is there an updated study about for that?
I'm not aware of any updated study further than the 2004 study. But here's the point. The harmonized infrastructure audit tool will assess structural integrity of buildings and structures in preparation for the possibility of a large magnitude earthquake here in Metro Manila and the neighboring cities. As you mentioned, recent history has shown, right? Recent earthquake in Myanmar, 7.7 magnitude that resulted in the deaths of 3,400 of their people. 2 years ago, Turkey, 7.8 magnitude, resulted in over 55,000 deaths. That's the kind of thing we want to prepare for. We want to make sure that if ever it happens and when it happens, we try to minimize the damage to our people. So hence this tool, which is essentially a computer program. No, and this tool will go through an assessment. Initially, what they're going to do is they're going to take a look at 5 things. Proximity of the buildings. They'll take a look at the proximity of the buildings to the fault lines, particularly the West Valley Fault. Second, they will take a look at what type of building. Is it a government facility? Is it a hospital? Are they schools? Because we need to prioritize this, because in case we need to provide disaster relief, we need to make sure that these structures are available for use. And then we're going to take a look at the age of the building, of course, the history. In past earthquakes, have there been cracks? And then, of course, buildings and structures that are densely populated, transportation hubs, residential buildings, commercial complexes. Those will be the priority.
Who's behind this technology, Yusek?
This was the reason why they call it harmonized is because it's a joint effort between the DILG, DOST, FIVOLCS, Bureau of Fire. A lot of agencies were involved here.
So you mentioned 3 things that will be checked: proximity to the West Valley Fault,
Right.
am I right? The type of the building, the age, and the history.
Yes.
I myself am very interested here because I live in a building that's quite close
Same here,
to the
yeah.
West Valley Fault.
Okay.
So, Yusek, what criteria will be used in terms of prioritizing which buildings will be audited first, and how will the local government units be involved in that process?
So what's going to happen is that will be the first assessment. So those top 5, they will prioritize the building based on the top 5. After that, the LGUs will come into a 4-phase assessment. And they will collate the data, input it into the system. They will do ocular inspections. They will do building inspections, a thorough building inspection. And then they will get engineers involved for an actual structural evaluation and investigation to see what buildings can withstand large magnitude earthquakes and what buildings will probably have to go through other processes.
And I heard there are plans to also tap engineering students.
Yes, the DILG is already collaborating with academic institutions. We will make use of the talents of 4th year and 5th year engineering college students to help us out in this process.
And when do you plan to roll out this?
Rollout is scheduled for June. The pilot areas will be NCR, Region 3, which means Bulacan all the way up to Bataan, and then Calabarzon area. Those will be the pilot areas.
And how long will the assessment be?
I don't know how long exactly the period will take in terms of assessment. We want to do this very carefully to make sure that we're not missing out on anything. For so long as we gather the information. But what's important here is that we have these standards. We will set these as the national standards for all buildings nationwide once we're done with these pilot tests.
I mean, this is very important, Yusek, right? Because when we talk about earthquakes, it's always a reactive response.
Yes.
We only act pag nandun na yung disaster, di ba? Pag may namatay na, may nasalanta na.
Yes.
So could this be considered as one of the more proactive measures that our government has in mitigating disasters?
The DILG has always been very active in disaster preparedness. We have a lot of programs out there. As a matter of fact, there's a program under the DILG called Operation Listo. We've issued 8 manuals to prepare the LGUs and teach them and capacitate them on how to handle typhoons, tsunamis, earthquakes, floods. Precisely because we don't want to be just reactionary. We have to be prepared. We don't want to be caught flat-footed. So, but definitely, we want to be prepared for the big one, if ever that happens and when that happens.
Okay, well, moving on to another topic. I mean, there's only less than a month left before the midterm elections.
Yeah.
How prepared is the DILG for May 12, first of all, Yusek?
Well, the peace and order situation, that's going to be handled by the PNP. And the PNP is very prepared. My latest report that I got from them, they have conducted over 660,000 checkpoints nationwide. And in the process, they've made arrests of over 2,400 individuals who have violated the gun ban. On the DILG's part, we have reminded the Secretary Remulla issued a memorandum circular a couple of months ago, instructing all governors, city mayors, and municipal mayors to form their local governance transition teams. And these LGTTs are expected to do a proper turnover just in case the incumbents are not successful in retaining their seats in the coming elections. We want to make sure that there is a smooth transition of assets, of documents, of papers, facilities, a proper turnover to the incoming administration after the elections.
And during elections, Yusek, it's really a high-risk period, not just for candidates, for voters, but also journalists, people who work in the media.
Yes.
And the DILG has proposed this Media Security Vanguards initiative. Tell us about that.
So actually what happened was, so there's an office called the Presidential Task Force on Media Security. This was created in 2016. Last November, the President reminded this office to up their efforts, to increase efforts to make sure that the journalists and the media practitioners are protected, especially with the upcoming elections. So 2 things happened after that President issued that directive to the Presidential Task Force. 2 things happened. Number 1, a memorandum of agreement was signed between the Presidential Task Force on Media Security and the COMELEC to ensure the rights of the of media and the journalists, and to make sure that they are free from harassment and harm. And then the reactivation of the media security vanguards, which is essentially, the media vanguards are essentially the frontliners for our media practitioners.
Right.
The media vanguards are basically composed of the PNP public information officers, the PNP PIOs. They are the frontliners. They are the ones that will help media and guide media on how to handle harassment and other such things.
But have there been reported incidents already, Yusek, of media workers being harassed already during this particular campaign period, election period?
Not that I know of. As a matter of fact, in the last event that I attended with Secretary J. Ruiz, we were actually heralding the fact that 2024 was the first year in 20 years that there were no media killings. That hasn't happened in 20 years. So Presidential Task Force was very happy. Media vanguards will make sure that we keep that slate clean.
And has there been any collaborations as well with media organizations? I mean, they play an important part as well here.
Yes, we're asking the media organizations. We can't do this alone.
Right.
So we need the efforts of DILG, PNP, media organizations, even COMELEC to get on board to make sure that our journalists are safe and away from harm.
What about training initiatives, Yusek? Awareness campaigns for media
Yes.
workers?
Yeah, so again, the Presidential Task Force will be rolling that out in the coming months. They will be having workshops and seminars to inform the journalists. You know, it's not just the journalists, they're the cameramen, the crew,
Right.
all of these people that go behind actual reporting. So they need to be made aware what their rights are, what they need to do to protect themselves. That's the kind of thing that the Presidential Task Force will take care of. Yeah.
Right. Well, it's very good to hear that. I mean, as a member also of the
Sure.
media, to know that we're protected, right? Especially during this high-risk period
Yeah.
of the elections.
Sure.
But under USEC, we still have more topics to discuss. We're just going to take a quick break. Morning
Sure.
Matters will be right back. Keep it here on One News. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here on One News. Now, going back to our discussion with Interior Undersecretary Donnie Puno, we were talking about the elections earlier on how to ensure the safety of journalists. But during this high-risk period, USEC, diba, even candidates, voters are at risk.
Yeah.
And election violence really increases during this period. Tell us about the efforts of the DILG and the PNP in ensuring that peace and order is maintained.
PNP has been very good about ensuring that. No? And Secretary Remulla has also warned all the police to make sure that none of them are involved in partisan politics. He personally said that he will file charges against police who favor any candidate at the local level. And I'll give it to PNP Chief Marbil. He's been very, very active also in ensuring that no violence. And I think that the numbers have been under control. I don't have the exact figures with me now, but things have been under control. There are several hot spots, mostly in the Barm area, as expected. But again, PNP is making sure that things are under control. So I don't think we have anything to worry about regarding that. Yeah.
Okay, so another topic I wanted to ask you, Yusek, also was the recent death and the unfortunate death of Filipino-Chinese businessman Anson Ke, as well as his driver.
Right.
This is the second kidnapping incident of a Chinese individual.
Right.
What's the latest on the investigation there, Yusek?
So, Pauline, I can't really go into the details of the investigation. It is ongoing. There is a special investigation task group that is handling it for the PNP. Part of that task group is General Okubo and General Torre of CIDG. So we'll let them proceed with that investigation. I know there's a lot of speculation out there, different angles, but we won't delve into that. We won't talk about speculations. But let me say that DOJ Secretary Boying Remulla has formed the interagency task force to handle these types of kidnappings. This will be composed of DOJ, NBI, and the Bureau of Immigration. The DILG is part of that together with the PNP. And Chief Marbil himself has met with the Filipino-Chinese community, assuring them of the assistance that PNP can give regarding this. He has, and I'll quote him, he said he is leveraging, he is mobilizing all capabilities of the PNP and leveraging every possible asset to make sure that similar kidnappings don't happen again. One of the first things that they've already done, they've already created, one of the things the PNP has done, they've created a help desk specifically and exclusively for the Filipino-Chinese community.
Help desk.
A help desk where they can report threats, possible kidnapping reports, other information that they can share with the PNP. So they've been proactive in making sure that that this doesn't happen again.
It's good that there's a help desk, Yusek, right? But you also have people criticizing, I guess, how this was handled, how officials responded, law enforcement responded, because it took 2 weeks when Mr. Anson Ke was kidnapped and then when his body was found.
Yeah.
What efforts are being done to make sure that we we can respond better, we can catch these masterminds, these perpetrators?
Again, Pauline, I won't go into the details, but I will say this, no? And this has happened in the past. One of the reasons why there's such a delay in reaction from the law enforcement is because the victims or their families refuse to report it. They do not immediately coordinate with the police regarding these matters. A lot of times they coordinate when maybe it might be a little too late.
Okay.
No? So I think that's one of the first things that they need to do. They need to get the police involved right away, and maybe things will be able to react a little faster. And I'm sure there's criticism out there, but like I said, let's wait for the report to come out. Chief Marbil has promised that they're going through a thorough investigation now, and they will make the report known soon.
And that's why the help desk is there,
Yes.
to immediately report any unfortunate incidents. But one of the angles being looked at, Yusek, is the links to Pogos. Is that something you can expound on?
Well, we've heard about it. No, we've heard about it. Again, it's an angle that they're investigating. I can't say at this point whether it's true or not, but there still is a cleanup of Pogos that we need to undergo. As you can see, it's been in the reports, it's been in the news the past couple of weeks. Raids here and there, Pogo related. People are, some of these, the Chinese Pogos are still here. So the cleanup continues. Now, whether this had anything to do with the Anson killing, we don't know at this point.
And do we know if it's also related to that of the Chinese student who was kidnapped in Taguig, or
No,
still being investigated?
That's still being investigated as well.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Undersecretary Donnie Puno,
Thank you
for
very much,
joining us
Pauline.
this Tuesday and tackling all those topics with us.
Thank you very much.
We hope you have a great Holy Week, and thank you
Oh,
for
you too.
joining us here on Morning Matters. That was Interior Undersecretary Donnie Puno.
Thanks, Pauline. Thank you very much. That was...
All right, we're just going to take another quick break. Morning Matters will be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here on One News. And now we take you live to the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange, or PITX, where an influx of passengers is expected. And mobile journalist Evan Terinque is on the ground to give us the latest. Hi Evan, good morning. Mas marami na bang tao dyan ngayong araw? Evan, kumpara kahapon, Lunes.
Pauline, good morning. No? Sa ngayong mga oras na ito, kung makikita nyo sa aking kuran, maluwag na maluwag pa rin yung loob ng PITX. No? Kung tutuusin, mas maluwag ngayong araw kumpara kahapon ng ganitong oras. No? Pero inaasahan kasi na simula bukas talaga, no, Huwebes ng hapon, dun talaga magsisimula yung pagdagsa ng tao dahil yun nga yung uling araw ng trabaho at yung ilang mga government office nga half day na para mapagbigyan itong ating mga empleyado na makapagbiyahe pauwi sa kanilang mga probinsya sa darating na Semana Santa. Kung tutusin niya, no, Pauline, umabot na sa 900, more than 980 na katao yung mga naging pasahero dito sa PITX simula April 9. At inaasahan pa na dadagdagan pa yung bilang na yan sa mga susunod na araw. Pauline.
Evan, ano naman yung mga ilang problema na na-encounter na ng mga pasahero dyan sa PITX? Nakabili pa ba sila ng ticket o fully booked na yung mga biyahe dyan?
Pauline, sa mga oras na to, no, sinilip natin kanina yung ilang mga ticket booths dito sa loob ng terminal. Yung ilan sa kanila hindi pa naman ganoon kahaba yung pila. Pero base dun sa ating nakuhang report, nasa 60 to 70% na fully booked yung mga biyaheng pa Bicol. No? Yan yung nakuha nating datos. No? So inaasahan talaga na lagi pinapaalalahanan yung ating mga kapatid na mag-book in advance, no? Dahil mahirap na. Dahil pagdating bukas, for sure, punuan na yung mga ticketing booths at baka mahirapan na yung pagkuha ng ticket. Pero bukod dyan, no, Pauline, may kita naman natin, no, diragdag din natin, marami rin mga police assistance desk dahil medyo nakakahilo pagdating dito sa loob ng terminal. May mga police assistance desk na itinalaga sa iba't ibang parte ng terminal para nga maiwasan yung mga untoward incidents at kung kailanganin man ng tulong ng isang pasahero ay may madali silang malalapitan. Pauline.
O Evan, so nagdagdag na ba ng biyahe yung mga operator dyan in anticipation of the influx of passengers ngayong Holy Week, lalo na bukas, Wednesday, pati sa Thursday na rin?
Yes, Paulino. Sa ngayon, wala pa tayong naririnig na dinadagdagan or nagdagdag na ng mga biyahe ng bus. Pero just in case daw na kailanganin, ay ready naman daw ang terminal na magbigay ng mga additional bus, lalo na nagbigay nga ng mahigit 1,000 special permits ang LTFRB sa mga bus para nga kung sakali talagang kailanganin o kulangin ng mga bus, ready i-roll out yung mga naka-standby na bus. Pero sa mga oras na ito, Pauline, 70% pa lang, 60 to 70% pa lang yung mga fully booked na buses. Pero ibig sabihin yan, may mga tickets pa rin pong mabibili dito sa terminal. Pero paalala ulit, mas okay na mag-advance booking, Pauline.
Oo, advance booking online, convenient na rin yan para hindi na sila mahassle at pumila dyan sa PITX. Pero Evan, baka pwede mo kaming bigyan ng mabilis na pasilip sa sitwasyon dyan ngayon, gano'n na ba karaming mga tao para yung mga papunta pa lamang dyan sa PITX, alam na nila kung anong pwede nilang abangan.
Okay, so ngayon Paulino, ikot natin. So ito tayo sa may entrance. Pagdating nitong entrance, makikita natin maluwag pa rin yung entrance natin dito, and makikita natin meron tayong cute na bomb sniffing dog para yan. Sine-check niya yung mga bagahe na hindi or mahirapan i-check on hand. Pagdating naman dito, makikita natin smooth pa rin yung ating paglalakad dahil usually pag maraming talagang tao dito sa PITX, talagang mahihirapan ka ng dumaan sa mga pasilyong ito, and makikita natin dito, ito yung isa sa police assistance desk na nakatalaga dito sa loob ng terminal, and try natin actually pumasok dito sa passport mismo, So makikita natin may mga upuan, maraming bakante upuan. Excuse me po. Silipin lang natin. Sir, silip lang kami, sir. Thank you po. So pag silip natin yung mga passport, ito, medyo maluwag, tabi-tabi yung mga bus sa mga pay nila. And ayan, makikita natin, may mga nakakasakay pa rin at hindi pa naman gano'n kadami yung tao ngayong umaga. Ito, ulit.
Oo. Ayan, good news yan. Evan, maluwag pa nga ngayon sa PITX, pero aabangan natin yung dagsa ng mga tao sa susunod na mga araw. But for now, maraming salamat para sa report na yan. That was mobile journalist Evan Tarinque. And before we go, Malacanang has announced work adjustments for government offices on Wednesday, April 16th to give employees more time to prepare for the observance of Maundy Thursday and Good Friday. Under the guidelines, government workers may work from home from 8 a.m. to 12 noon, and work will be suspended starting 12 noon onwards. However, agencies involved in basic and health services, disaster response, and other vital operations are required to maintain regular work arrangements. And that's it for today's episode of Morning Matters. I'm Pauline Verzosa, sitting in for Gretchen Ho. We are One News, all sides, all the time.